Hey everyone, I'm here and welcome back to Scraping Through. Mike and I are very much looking forward to the holidays, and so we wanted to look at some unique celebrations from around the world. Would also love to hear from you. What's the most unique, crazy, weird celebration, festivals, holiday that you've taken part of? Reach out to us on Instagram, send us a DM at Scraping Through Podcast. Enjoy the show and take care. Okay, welcome.
Hello.
Brand new episode. Finally
Well,
back
it's been a
together.
while. Feels weird. It's been so long.
Why? Why has it been so long? What happened in your life?
I don't even know, man. Like things just got busy, I guess. Yeah, it's weird. Usually we always find time to sit together, and we have found time to sit together. We've just decided to do other things, like when we have that time. So, um, keeping our millions of fans waiting for the next nugget of awesomeness that we decide to drop on them. So here it is.
There it is. As with anything that is precious, it takes time to conceptualize. We actually been thinking so much, about what we're gonna say, what we're gonna talk about today.
But one of us has. I've been very lazy and not thinking very much at all. So I'm just going to ad lib this whole episode, and hopefully you got some cool stuff prepared for us. Before you dive in, though, I'm curious.
But what?
Have we skipped your whole blonde hair segment in our podcast, or did we capture the blonde hair at any point? Have we just jumped from long hair Emiliano to short hair Emiliano and just skipped all the juicy content between then? Or do we have a catalog of progress of your hair?
No, we definitely do, right? We did the tea episode together with Sweet, and I was blonde there.
I was too busy with the tea to think about your hair.
Yeah. Is that a way for you to say that you hated my blonde hair? Because
I loved your blonde hair. I'm in mourning for your blonde hair. That's why you're in black and I'm in dark colors. I don't really wear black, but this is as close as I get to my morning colors. So
I think that was pretty successful, Like I walked into blonde hair phase not knowing what to expect, but then to my face, people were, very well receptive and complimentary. Complimentary? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now I just decided to, fresh start. Like this represents the end of the year, the end of.
It looks like you've just discovered that you've come out of the Matrix.
Yeah,
yeah.
True. This is a good Keanu cosplay. Right.
You just need worse clothes. You need to look like you've not washed for a while, and you're wearing very old secondhand clothes. But you're almost there.
You know what I should have worn? I should have worn this. Oh no, the suspense.
Reveal. Where's the reveal?
I'm trying.
You don't know where it is. Oh gosh.
It is. Oh gosh.
Well, we'll edit this part, maybe.
No,
It's fun to see Emiliano confused.
There you go.
Why the hell aren't you wearing that? That's the question.
I know.
Well, you'll be wearing that 24/7 now.
Yeah, for everyone that is not watching the video podcast, this is a Christmas jumper that Mike got me with Rick and Morty, and says "Happy Human Holiday," which is probably the best way to say Merry Christmas without offending anyone or creating any debates.
Happy Human Holiday, everyone. This may well be our Christmas episode. Surely.
I would try to think a bit wider, actually, I would try to think a bit more. Let's talk about celebrations, but let's do it with our spin. Let's look at the craziest festivals around the world that bring people closer together. So bit of
Okay,
wholesomeness today.
I'm excited.
And I think it's good to talk about bringing people close together, because even if we are social distancing, it's great to try to feel like part of a whole, of a community, of a group, right?
Yeah, I'm already excited seeing Holi. I love
Yeah.
that color festival.
The
I hope I'm
first,
saying it correct. We may have some pronunciation issues with some of the
yeah.
celebrations, but I'm definitely familiar with the visuals of this festival, and it's an ambition of mine to take part in that one day.
Do you know much about? So we're looking at Holi Color Festival in India, right? Do you know much about it?
Yep.
Because I've seen it like many times, but I've never digged into what exactly it celebrates.
I've seen a lot of people when I was in Singapore coming back from parties that they've been to, where the color dust gets thrown over
Mm.
everyone, and you just come back with like all these rainbow streaks, and it looks so cool. Looks really amazing. So it looks like it's sometimes called the Festival of Love, which yeah, it's a lovely thing to celebrate.
Oh wow! It's one of the most celebrated festival in India, and it says celebrates the triumph of good over bad, and is held annually between the end of February and the end of March. Should we count how many of these have been canceled for COVID, or is just depressing?
Oh my gosh, no.
Uh,
Hopefully, anyone that's missing any of these festivals that we talk about today, they'll be
yeah.
back live and kicking at some point next year. This year's been a write-off for a lot of these, I imagine.
Mm.
Before we go on to the next one, what's your weirdest celebration or event that you have marked? Is there anything in the Italian culture that stands out?
There are a couple. I'd say let's keep it for the end because I don't want to spoil it. Because there are a couple in Italy and maybe they're here. I actually haven't looked at the whole list. I wanted some genuine reactions. Shall we keep it
Okay.
for the end and see?
Yeah, for sure. I'll ask you if you participated in them at that point.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil them. Let's keep it as a conclusive thought and story. So everyone
That's
is
it.
gonna just listen because of that.
That's it. You have to stay to the end now. Sorry, guys. I tried for you.
It's gonna be the
Oh wow, that looks really cool. The Winter Light Festival in Japan. I don't know, I've not heard of that one. I've not seen that one. Usually in Japan, it's the cherry blossom type
yeah.
of festival that gets a lot of news. Where like in springtime, all the flowers open up on the
Mm.
trees. This is a little bit different in Kuwana City.
Kuwana City. Um, I've never heard about it either, but I love lights. We actually have one where I live in Chiswick. There's a festival of lights as well. I'm sure it's just as good as this one in Japan. I'm quite
Obviously, 'cause this is purely like your bog standard light show.
wow.
Obviously not. It's amazing over
Wow,
there.
this looks insane. Yeah. This reminds me of a art gallery that I've been in Japan, which is Team Lab Borderless. Have you ever heard about them?
No.
Is a collective of digital um, artists that put up this gallery, and every um, every piece in this gallery, which is interconnected and is not kind of based on a strict path. You kind of find yourself in different rooms, as well as some of the rooms are actually secret rooms. You need to find them themselves. They don't tell you where to go, how to find them. And it's this amazing, amazing place. You can imagine it's also very technological, as in you can use your smartphone to change how certain installations behave. So
Wow.
yeah, highly recommend it. It's very beautiful.
That's really cool. Where's this again?
This is it in Tokyo, in Japan. Is also in Singapore. No, this one in Singapore. This one in You know what? There's one somewhere.
Singapore has a kind of similar type of museum, but it's definitely not at this scale.
So there's actually three in Tokyo. I think they did some collaborations around the world, as in some of the installations that are in this gallery were exposed in other part of the world, but it might just be in Tokyo actually. Is on the what is called the Entertainment Island, which I don't know the actual name of right now.
I love
Maybe,
that Japan has an entertainment island.
yeah, there's a massive Gundam statue. Yeah, it's
Makes me wonder, why doesn't every country have some kind of entertainment island? Like, what's the UK's equivalent of an entertainment island?
Guernsey, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. There's a tourism opportunity there. If there's anyone listening that happens to influence these islands and wants to become an entertainment island, or if you are already, maybe we need to investigate more. But I can't think of an entertainment island here. So there's a gap if someone wants to fill that. By the way, this episode is sponsored by Chili's Bottle.
Chili's Bottle, which by the way, they just released the second version of Chili's Bottle. Actually, I was looking at it the other day, but yeah. So Chili's, if you're actually listening, we're on the lookout for new sponsors. I think we're following the light team with this next one.
Oh, amazing. I love lanterns. These are so cool.
The Festival of Lights.
My wife, Sweden, and I, on one of our early holidays, went to an island in Philippines that was entirely deserted. So it was a mission to get there. It was like a 10-hour car drive, a 3-hour boat ride to get to this island. And it's a pristine beach, and you'd sleep in tents there, and there's like nothing else really. But they brought like a bunch of lanterns with them. So we would have like a beach gathering where we'd all light lanterns just like this. So you'd have a candle inside a kind of a paper structure, and the heat from the candle obviously raises the lantern. But it's such a graceful thing. Like, there's no noise to it. You just see these lights going up from the beach into the sky and traveling over the sea, and you'll never know where they land or how far they go. So it's a really cool, serene experience.
That's actually a good point. Like, it's very cool and everything, but doesn't it create a big waste? Like,
I'm sure it does. Like, now you make me feel guilty, but I was thinking, like, it says a lot about journey. You know, you never know where these things will actually go. So it looks pretty, but you're right. It is basically distributed littering. But
distributed littering.
In Asia, lanterns are a big deal. You know, it's a big part of culture there, and I think it's stunning when you see them get let go in en masse, like in the pictures you're seeing.
It's pretty awesome. Have you ever been to Thailand?
Yeah, a few times.
Have we spoke about this? I don't think so. Because
probably not. I don't have a huge amount of interesting stories about Thailand, because most of the time it was for work, or Sweet and I would go there to do diving because the water is really nice and you can see all kinds of different fish. But as far as like cultural stuff, I saw in Bangkok a couple of temples, and Bangkok's an interesting city because most cities you go to, you see a lot of your familiar brands, right? You'll see a McDonald's, a KFC, like very familiar shops, and you're just in another city in the world.
Yeah.
In Bangkok, you kind of know you're in a very strong culture. Like, you see the shapes of the temples all around you, and you can go in and visit them, and it's a really stunning city. I love Thailand a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list, but never been before. So maybe next time we can travel again. This be a first destination.
We'll need to make a calendar of all of these events and then review them one by one as we go and visit them next year or the year after.
Sounds like
wow.
Yeah, where I've been is in Portugal for sure. but I've never seen this. So this is the, forgive me, the pronunciation is going to be horrible. Agi Tagueda. Agi Tagueda. I think I did it quite well with that. Heart Festival in Portugal. So it's an art festival.
Okay, I thought it was going to be an umbrella themed festival, but it sounds like it's not necessarily about umbrellas. It's going to be about all kinds of different art exhibitions.
Well, this is just reporting on. So there's essentially hundreds of umbrellas covering a footpath, and they're all different colors, and it looks pretty awesome.
It does look very cool.
Wow,
And very
from
practical,
above.
right? If it rains, you're covered.
Yeah. Well, in Portugal, it doesn't rain that much, to be fair. Like, but it definitely is a good utility, for the scorching sun that is present like most of the year.
Yeah, that was something that I wasn't used to in Singapore. When I first moved there was people with umbrellas all the time. And it's like, wow, it's rarely rains, at least in that season. And it's just scorching sun. Like people just use umbrellas as a mobile shade. And being from the UK, you just never see that or never even think that you would need to have an umbrella for that purpose. So yeah, that was a revelation in my early times in Asia.
Let's see. Well, oh wow. I want to look at this one. Japan again.
Amazing.
Sapporo Snow Festival. And the pictures report a huge Darth Vader and stormtroopers made of snow.
Yeah, when we say huge, this is not like just big. This is what about 3 or 4, maybe 5 times the height of your average person in that photo. That is insanely big.
Yeah, like 20 feet maybe? No. Yeah.
I think even more than that. I
More,
think like
yeah, definitely
40.
more. That looks pretty awesome. I
Yeah.
love snow, man. It's actually snowing. It was snowing in Milan, in Italy last week. And my parents were sending me pictures. And it just, every time I see snow, it's just, I don't know, it's happiness for me. I don't know why. Like, maybe I really associate with like early years of my life where it usually just snows in December or January, and when it used to snow in December, it was just magical, Christmas and snow. I think it's the best.
So I used to love snow as a kid. Like I like it now as well. But when I was a kid, I used to get super excited when it would snow because you'd always want to go outside and build a snowman or throw snowballs at your friends and stuff like that. And I remember like you'd be so excited, and then you go outside and you start putting your hands in the snow, like with or without gloves, and like the cold would kind of seep through your gloves if you had them on, or even without, your hands would start hurting, and I would cry, and I would hate snow after about 20 minutes of having snow, and then rinse and repeat whenever like the snow came around again. I would be like so excited. So I always observe snow with a bit of suspicion, because I know that if you're not prepared and you start messing around with it, it'll come back and bite you. But yeah, I do have a lot of time for snow until it starts killing my hands. Or
That's because we used to have those gloves that were like cotton, and they just they start getting soaked, and then it goes through it, and it's just the worst.
God.
I think it was the medium, the issue, the type of glove.
I can remember like firstly not being able to open the door to get back into the house because your hands just wouldn't work anymore. You have to do some really strange combination of using your forearms to kind of try and bend the handle as you get through the door. And then I made the worst mistake of trying to rinse my hands under hot water.
Oh God.
It was so painful. Snow is a teacher of many lessons, is what I learned from UK winters way back when.
There's some snow in the UK. As in like London. We had it like 2 years ago. It was quite a lot, but I haven't seen it in quite a while. So let's see. Maybe we can get a snowy Christmas this year.
I hope so.
Nothing like that in Japan, but also always again in Japan that you were mentioning cherry blossom. So
Yeah, this is the most famous one.
for sure. I did catch this in 2018. I went
Really?
April, and it was just towards the end. And the last ones that blossom, I think they're called mountain cherry or something like that. But yeah, they were just it was just like one of the last weekends of like cherry blossom.
Uh,
Yeah, that's pretty.
I've also seen cherry blossoms, but not in Asia. Actually, in the United States, they also blossom there with huge flowers. It's around a lake. I think it was in. I'm gonna mess that. It's probably in Washington D.C. or West Virginia. West Virginia, Virginia, I forget. But I was amazed to see them there. I just happened to be there when they were blooming.
Yeah.
And I guess it's on the same kind of latitude as Japan, perhaps, and that's why they get kind of similar blooms. I don't know if there's a story of correlation there of somewhere, but yeah, the U.S. Cherry blossoms are pretty amazing as well.
I didn't know that, but I also think that probably there is a different, cultural meaning as well. Like I think for Japanese people, sakura, cherry blossom, is like super spiritual. I was trying to do some quick Googling here, but massive part of Javan culture. Farmers used the blooming of the sakura flowers to help them know it was time to plant their rice crops. So maybe not very spiritual, but very cultural, as in has been for years and years something that has been part of like the way farmers used to plant their rice crops in this case. But
And you know who's distributing the facts there? Children's BBC.
children's was that the source?
That was the source.
It must be right then. It must
Absolutely, you wouldn't lie to kid.
Oh man, I'm really hoping I can go back to Japan soon. We end up always talking about Japan, and yeah, I miss it. But look at these guys.
Well, what better way to make you feel better?
Yes.
Than a festival about dogs.
Yes, Golden Retriever Festival in Scotland.
I just want to stick Emily in the middle of this. Emily is my miniature dachshund, and she's a very excited dog. So I think if we put her in the middle of this crowd, she would do a very similar thing to what happened on our holiday recently. So in between lockdowns, we managed to go to the north of England. I'm sure we mentioned that in a recent episode. And yeah, we were walking Emily on the footpaths, and stupidly without a leash. And then she managed to see some sheep in one of the fields that we were in. And that was it. She was gone. You can imagine at first a couple of sheep running, and they keep going, and Emily's chasing. They find more sheep, and slowly this flock of sheep starts growing and growing, and you start having about 100 sheep running around a field, chased by the tiniest dog possible, followed by me shouting, "Stop, stop!" And it was.
You were so terrified that she would get shot.
I really thought there's going to be this eagle-eyed farmer with a sniper gun somewhere, or a sniper shotgun, just waiting for the moment that a dog chases a sheep or her sheep. and yeah, that would be the end of Emily. And then she was on the leash a lot more after that. But yeah, there's a tip. If you're ever in the countryside and there might be sheep around, put your dog on a leash.
Watch out for your dog. Yeah.
Watch
And
out for those sheep.
I think these golden retrievers look way calmer than Emily.
They do.
I love golden retriever. Probably my favorite breed, either golden retriever or German shepherd. I mean, I love big dogs. I love also Shiba Inus.
That's a Shiba Inu. I think you have to show that. That's
Shiba Inu.
not a breed that gets mentioned very often, I think.
No? I think it got very popular with memes because
Oh, Doge.
it's a Doge. Yes. So this is one of my favorite. Also, I would say I love huskies as well. Like kind of, yeah, rather big dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
Well, I have to say I like Dachshunds because I have one. She gets very offended if I say I start liking other dogs. But I'm similar to you. I have a preference for larger dogs, and
It was her birthday as well 2 days ago. So happy.
well, she had a cake today. I will send over a picture. We can put it on the Instagram, so if you can see her celebrating with her cake, which she was very excited about. Yeah, we got her a bunch of gifts, so she's making her way through those at the moment.
Good.
But yeah, shout out, happy second birthday, Emily.
Happy birthday, Emily.
There you go.
Good. So yeah, this is definitely one of the festivals that I would love to go.
I'm sure everyone would love. Like, you just roll around in a field with a bunch of dogs, trying to lick your face. I think it would be a great laugh.
Yeah, last year gathering set a record with 222 dogs. 222 golden retriever, man.
Don't you just want to run through shouting squirrel?
Yeah. I just want to pet them all. That's so cool.
Just stone through shouting Walkies.
Yeah.
Cause pandemonium.
That's awesome.
Oh wow.
Dia de los Muertos festival in Mexico, which is one of the most, I think this is one of the most kind of culturally appropriated festival ever, right? Like you see a lot of people doing these makeups and celebrating like in clubs and everything. This celebration, the Day of the Dead, is celebrated in Mexico as well as all around the world. Of course it is. Like, it's also in Italy celebrated, but we don't have costumes associated with it. It is held in order to pray for and remember loved ones that have passed on.
I think in England and probably in a number of other cultures, death is historically been something that's very challenging to talk about. Like, no one wants to kind of face up to mortality, but other cultures seem to embrace it and really celebrate death as well. So it's an interesting contrast.
It's true. I think it's Chinese people that burn money.
Yes.
Burn money and possessions that believe that will be passed on to the to who just passed away.
Right. Every year there's a festival. I can't remember what they call it. It lasts for about a month, and all the way through that month, you have. Actually, that's something that you'll see in Singapore and presumably in China and other countries that celebrate it. You will see these like tin cans dotted around, and I always thought they were rubbish bins when I first moved there, and thankfully I didn't discard my rubbish in them, but I came close a couple of times, but I got told not to by my friends. And then like 1 month a year, people will start burning stuff in there, and they don't burn real money. They burn like fake paper money that you can buy from the shop, but it's supposed to symbolize, and whatever you burn, that gets transferred to your ancestors. So keeping them wealthy
Mm.
in whatever spiritual land they happen to be on. So yeah, it's a really interesting festival, and there's a lot of superstition attached to it. Like during that month, it's very unlucky for your kid to cry. So you try and keep kids happy during that month, and not let them be upset. I can't remember exactly what's behind that, but it's a really interesting cultural festival.
I think that's really cool. Yeah, I think a lot of country I can think about, they have a day dedicated to remember, uh, the families and loved ones that pass away. And I think it reminds me of a conversation. I'm agnostic, and I believe in oblivion. I believe, we're gonna end our days on this earth, and that's it, right? And I remember getting into this conversation with a friend where I said, like, you know, um, I believe in this. And so sometimes I get to think, what's the point? Like, I'm going to die anyway, right? What's the point of all this? And he said, well, the point is it has a value. And I think something clicked because, like, it's true. Like, if you think everyone around you and then the legacy that you build, um, you would think there will be, like, you remember your loved ones that have passed away, there will be people that will remember you. So it has a value what you do today to those people. So
100%.
yeah, I
That's
think
a really nice way of looking at it. You touch the lives of so many for your own life, and the ways that you can impact their stories as well is profound and shouldn't be overlooked. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind, and it's a nice message.
absolutely. Mike, I'll ask you, let's do one more, and then we can talk about a bit more our experience with weird celebration. So I'm gonna scroll, and then you tell me where you want me to stop or go back if anything has got your attention, because we have a
Okay, I mean,
couple.
so far, I mean, everyone knows about Burning Man. I think the one that you went past about 4 or 5 above, where there's people just, it looked like resting above a canyon. What is going on here?
So this is
And
actually,
it's Italian. Have you
yes,
done this?
yeah, of course, many times. The International Highline Meeting Festival in Montepiana, Italy. This festival offers unmatched views of the Italian Alps as participants hang out on those high-flying hammocks. So there is a literal, like,
My
string
God.
where there's hammocks attached, and this is like in a valley, pretty high. This is terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for your judgment of height, because you might say it's 30 feet in the air, but
Yeah.
that is literally like a couple of 100 feet up. So yeah, no, doesn't look like there's much hope of surviving that if anything happens. But it's everyone looks super happy to be there. Adrenaline and social interaction. What better way to celebrate?
Looks amazing. I wouldn't do it for all the money on this earth. Like, I am so scared of heights. I I've watched Free Solo. I don't understand how people climb at all. Like, it's so terrifying, man. It must be like so adrenalinic and amazing, but like there's certain things that really, like, you want to die, man. Like, what the hell? Like, I know it's super safe, but it's so scary.
Well, you were saying last weekend that diving might be your next calling, or your new passion to take on. So you may yet conquer your fear of heights doing that.
Diving?
Sorry, climbing.
Oh,
Climbing.
climbing. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, I tried climbing last week, and, well, climbing, whatever. I actually booked for an indoor climbing lesson on Saturday.
No way.
Yes.
Amazing.
I'm gonna go Saturday for like an hour a guided lesson. Very looking forward to that. But it's like an
You got
indoor
company
wall.
joining you?
Huh?
You got company joining you on that?
Yes. So I'm actually going with Leah. But I think,
So cool.
did you ask me if you want me to have you? I didn't get what you said.
No, no, I was asking if you're going
Oh,
alone or
I
if you're
thought
going.
I thought for a second you asked, do you want me to join you? And I was like, no, I don't want you. No.
Well, I'm glad you proactively cleared that up
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before I
Just in
asked.
case you were wondering, no, I don't want you.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Noted. Don't worry. I'll find something cool to do next weekend.
Maybe you can go and hang out on a hammock like this.
Yeah, I have a hammock in the back garden. I'm gonna take beginner hammock lessons. Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah, that was this is pretty awesome. That actually kind of links well to going back to the question that you asked at the beginning that I so rudely passed on to say for now, because
I'm curious, what have you participated in that you think might have got onto this list?
okay, participated in, that's a big question, because so in Italy there's a very famous competition where we throw tomatoes around from like trucks. It's pretty weird. I've never been. Now I'm thinking what kind
Sounds like
of,
a Friday night in England.
yeah, as you call in England.
People driving, teenagers driving around in cars, squirting tomato ketchup out at random people.
Yeah.
It's just something that gets done here, every weekend.
I think a celebration per se, I haven't take part of any, but the theme here is like festivals that brings people together. So I think probably Boom Festival back in 2014. Boom is a music festival, music and art festival. There was actually many exhibitions. There was one of my favorite artists there actually having an exhibition. It's called Android Jones. He makes some amazing art. It was 6 years ago. That's crazy, and brings people together. As in, this festival is every 2 years, and it has a theme. And the theme was a woman, the woman figure, and every stage was shaped like a woman. There was the main stage had this massive figure representing a vagina, pretty much, with a hole in the middle that would let like light shine through during the day. So it was very symbolic, I think, as in like woman enlightening us. I think that would probably be. I would also classify it as weirdest, because you can imagine which kind of people I've met in those 5 days. And I remember then staying there 5 days with 10 of my friends. And once finished, we were driving back to the airport in Lisbon, and we stopped at a service station. And I remember going to the toilet and looking at myself in the mirror for the first time in 5 days. And I will never forget this, because I was just surprised about how I looked, because I didn't look at myself for 5 days. And I looked so different, because I was like super tan with like some beard. And a guy next to me started laughing and said, "Welcome back to the Matrix." And I'll never forget that.
Nice, man. That sounds like a cool experience.
Yeah, it was one of the best experiences of my life, for sure. What about you? Do you have one in particular that you remember?
The one that strikes me is I wouldn't say it's weird, but I say it's pretty cool. Actually, if you Google it, It's if you look at Singapore Lantern Festival, probably not 2020, maybe 2019. You would see some pretty cool lanterns. So you can go to the Chinese or Japanese gardens in Jurong, which is the west side of Singapore. And every year they will have, they'll fill the park with different types of lanterns. And they're not the lanterns that we just saw, which are kind of small and you kind of let go into the air. These are fixed to the ground and they can be quite big and represent different scenes. So it's almost like an English nativity scene, but various different kind of local or Chinese type scenes that they've recreated. Various animals from the Chinese zodiac and so on. I don't think you're sharing your screen, so you probably have to.
I was trying to find it first. Is the Mid-Autumn Festival that you're talking
Yeah,
about?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. It might come just after the Ghost Festival we were talking about, where people are celebrating death. Just after that.
Oh, it was on the list.
Well, if you just Google Chinese Garden Lantern Festival Singapore or something like that, you'll probably find pictures of the lanterns that come up. Oh, mooncakes as well, like in that time.
But I was about to ask.
Yeah. So every year, like all the shopping centers will be selling these mooncakes, and they come in like these very ornate boxes. So you can essentially choose what kind of mooncakes you want and the box that it comes with. And every hotel in Singapore, like all of the posh hotels, like the Ritz-Carlton, Intercontinental, and so on, they'll all have their different style of box, and they would compete every year who has the most intricate mooncake box.
Wow.
Yeah. So every year you're trying to find the right box for you, and it's so popular. Like I can't tell you how popular this is. Like it's just packed every year with people buying mooncakes. Like that, just the industry of mooncakes, even though they're sold for like a month in a year or 6 weeks, it probably sustains people's living for like the entire year for that 6 weeks. It's amazing.
Nice. I was thinking about what's the market cap of mooncakes at that point.
Exactly. If there is a stock market for mooncakes, definitely invest at that time of year.
Get into that. Cool. Well, we've seen some pretty unique celebrations. I think, of course, I personally am looking forward to Christmas. Are you?
I am very much. Actually, I have a Christmas themed question for you.
Go on.
So, is there a gift that you received in a certain way that is very memorable to you?
Oh boy. I actually have it here with me because I was showing someone. It's a birthday. Sorry, what am I talking about?
It can't be the Rick and Morty sweater again. I know that was super memorable for you, but it's all right, man.
It's actually a Christmas gift from my dad from 2 Christmas ago.
Oh, wow.
So I'll pick it just for you. And I resurfaced it recently because I was asking someone, what's the worst present? So this is the worst and the most memorable at the same time.
Okay.
And you will understand why. And so my dad picked this gift for me, and I'll give some kind of context in a second. But yeah, so he gave me this on Christmas Day, saying that this suited my style, and so I really like art, and this is a 3D print, I think, of a skull or skulls. It's 3 pictures.
Wow.
It's 3 pictures of skulls, right? So I never had in my life a
emo face.
Oh, and a sweary one.
Yeah, there's a sweary one as well.
Amazing.
I am probably like the most cheerful person I know. I don't know. I've never worn like skeletons or like death related things. I don't know. Like I literally have nothing to do with this. Like, but it's so, yeah, it's very symbolic. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's awful. For people that actually, we're gonna probably post it on Instagram.
And that deserves to be posted, man. That's a phenomenal Christmas gift.
Yeah.
What a power picture.
Pretty special. Do you have one in mind?
As a gift like that I've received.
Yeah.
Man, when I was a kid, we used to go to my granddad's house. Like my granddad passed away a couple of years ago, but we used to go to his house and have like a mini Christmas celebration there. And I remember one Christmas, he came into the room. I was like, "Oh, I got your Christmas gift for you." I was like super excited. I must have been maybe 8 or 9, maybe. And he stood at the doorway and he bent over and he was like, come on. And he was like patting his legs like there's like some kind of dog or animal outside.
Yeah.
And I was losing my shit, man.
Okay.
And then he's like, oh, it's not coming. So he went out the door and he grabbed this like big thing in a package and put it forward to me. And at the time I was thinking, oh my God, if that is an animal, it's not moving around very much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like trying to desperately rip open the paper to rescue it. And it was a beanbag and I loved it. Like,
nice.
Yeah. So it's my first ever beanbag. And I don't know, as an 8 or 9-year-old, a beanbag is just a mesmerizing thing because you just jump into it and it just swallows you up. And that was a really nice gift. I just love the way that he presented it to me. And it's a really kind of warm, fuzzy memory of my granddad. So that one comes to mind.
Speaking of warm and fuzzy, you're not wearing my, let's say Secret Santa gift. So,
but I tell you what, I will get it posted on our Instagram so people can see me wearing your gift to me, which was phenomenal. And actually is my, second favorite gift memory now. Because that was awesomeness. Awesome. So Emiliano got me a wonderful Badger onesie. And if you've never worn a onesie, because until this time, I had never worn a onesie. And the same feeling as a beanbag, it swallows you up into a nice, warm, fuzzy cocoon, and nothing can be wrong.
I am part of the never worn a onesie club, so I need to get on board.
That makes it even more of a meaningful gift that you got someone else a onesie before buying your own.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, Leah, if you're listening to this, buy Emma onesie. It's the most beautiful gift you can ever bestow upon anyone.
That's a good
or a beanbag
idea. I love beanbags. Actually, beanbag would be a great Christmas gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was
I have one more question for you. I think the women that listen and some men who listen to this podcast want to know.
What could that question possibly be? A bit scared, but if you're interested to find out, stay tuned for the next episode where we might have some special guests joining. But until then, stay safe and take care. Ciao!